Let's give this a couple minutes so people can file in. Let's go content. Hi. Sorry about that. I needed to take a call for work real quick. So, how are you all today? Da da da. I do not have Angelique with me today, so it's just me, and we're gonna watch some Bashar. If you guys have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'm going to give it a few minutes, see who all wants to show up and hang out and watch some Bashar with me, and I can do a little bit of channeling, because, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good today for anyone that's actually watching. This is going to be this is also going to go back to the whole, like, I'm just trying to figure this whole thing out process, because I do not have someone with me helping me out today, filling the questions. And, yeah. Leroy. So I'm gonna try to take questions there, and I want to get a few people in before we start going. So if you're watching this in the future and you want to skip ahead to when we actually start, like, watching Bashar together, feel free to skip ahead. But yeah, so it's just me today. And I got the dog. He's helping me out today. He's being Leroy. He's being a great dog. Leroy! Monster, come here. Hold on one second. I got a dog that wants me to... I want at least a couple people in the stream. So, for those who are wondering why we haven't started yet, I'm waiting for at least 2 people to show up. And that's my dog. That's his favorite toy. So before we get started with any of the watching Bashar, I want to start like this. If any of you guys have watched the channeling stuff that I've been doing recently when it comes to Ethan when he comes through me, I will let you know that the side effects I've been finding lately since I've been doing the channeling stuff myself is when I go to music, I feel vibration now. Like, I feel completely enveloped in, like, I'm actually getting more out of the music. Like, I went to a concert this last weekend, and it was so just, like, the power and the raw, just, like, vibration was just incredible. Like, the energy of the music just... It was actually kind of intoxicating if you actually get to it. The other thing I found is I'm hearing things differently. Like, I'm hearing like sounds sound different. Like, there's another layer to just about everything everyone says to me. Like, my hearing's gotten way more sensitive. That's the other thing I've found that's happened. Like, my ability to sense energy and frequency has exploded. And when Ethan is talking through me and he does those tones, I can't replicate those tones. So if you are watching those and wondering why he's talking that way. He's actually, the frequencies that he puts out when he's talking, I can't replicate them in my everyday life. Trust me, I've tried. I can't replicate that. So and also, for those who do watch this in the future, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And today we're going to watch A Step Along the Way. So I want at least one person in here to start watching this with. The other thing I found about when I'm doing channeling stuff that I find very interesting, the way he speaks is just so confident and so he just goes. I don't prompt him for any of that stuff. He keeps bugging me to do more channeling stuff, like to sit there and talk and just let him talk. And yeah, I'm always really surprised with what he has to say and what he has to share with whoever wants to actually listen. And I'm looking forward to more of those things, because yeah, I think I'm just gonna start like 10 minutes in. That's good enough. People will show up. So let's begin this, and I'll also expand on it, and we'll have, when people come in and have questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. So
all right, good day, good day. We will now deliver the monologue for the transmission that we have called A Step Along the Way. This is for the purpose of allowing you more efficacy, more ability to stay in the moment along your path, on your journey, and allow you to have a clearer understanding of how your higher mind, your passion, and synchronicity work together to allow you to take the steps necessary for you to navigate through the different parallel versions of Earth that are more and more reflective of the version that you prefer to experience, or the versions, more precisely, that you prefer to continue to experience as you shift moment to moment to moment. The primary point of this particular transmission and title is really about learning to relax into the moment, of letting go of any insistence on the concept of a goal that you're attempting to achieve, a place you're attempting to get to, some destination out in the so-called future. Not that you will not experience the idea of outcomes and goals and destinations, but these things are experienced along the way. In other words, please remember this. Your journey, no matter how you experience it, whether in physical reality, whether in non-physical reality, your journey never ends. There is no ultimate place you are attempting to get to. If you understand that everything that's important is happening right now, nothing more important will ever happen, as you say, in the future. It will just be a different thing, equally important to whatever's going on right now. You can begin to relax into the now, into the moment, understanding that as your passions are presented to you, in terms of whatever form they come in, by synchronicity, that these experiences, the willingness to act on the things that contain more passion, more excitement, more curiosity, more attractiveness, are simply in the moment, there in that form to get you to take an action that represents the step you need to take at that moment. As we have said before, just because your excitement presents itself in a certain way, in a certain format, doesn't mean that that format always has to come to fruition.
So I want to say this just because I have a wonderful story that goes along with this. I didn't want to do these streams in the first place. I was actually completely afraid to do these streams in the first place. I didn't, just because a lot of times in my life I've been forced to the back. I've been forced to be the one in the back, so I was always just kind of afraid to be up in front of people. Like I'm a pretty quiet person overall. Like for the most part, I just kind of keep to myself. What I have found is I like being up in front. I like being the person that people come to. And if you guys are interested, please comment in the chat if you would like me to have Ethan come through and like comment and add to what Bashar is saying, because I'm going to probably be flipping back and forth between what he says, what I say, and what Ethan says. So if you guys are interested in that, please say hello in the comments or in the chat. But I did not start doing these channels. I did not start doing these live streams in order to become a channel. That just kind of happened, and it was just a extension of my excitement and extension of my path as being the person I was going to be, or the person I'm becoming. So if you would like to have Ethan come through and also expound on any of this stuff, please let me know.
Sometimes it might, but many times it might not. At least not in the sense that that will be the next thing that manifests. Again, it may, but it may not. So the idea is to start really looking, start really connecting to the things that present themselves to you as opportunities to act on that are representative of your passion, looking at them only as a step along the way on your journey. Nothing in that sense is the ultimate goal. The only...
Would you, after the monologue's over, would you like me to have Ethan come through and actually start and also kind of expand it? So Ethan is my counterpart in the Sasani civilization, same as Bashar. He's part of the team that is actually helping with the ascension process that we're all going through. So he teaches stuff that's similar to what Bashar teaches, but it's in a much more direct manner than the kind of, I find, very vague answers that Bashar or Ryo or other channels. But I also bring through Yeshua and Bigfoots and like other stuff and whatever's I find interesting to be able to like channel. So sure, let me give me a second and let me, because I'm finding the last couple times I brought Ethan through, he actually brought through new information because I'm kind of relaxing into just allowing new stuff to come in. Give me a second. Hello, how are you all? We, as a being, as an entity, act as a clarifier, as a definition simplifier. We are part of the Sasani civilization. We come to you today as a way of expressing and also communicating to you the idea of different elements, different breaths, different elemental breaths to expand upon your understanding. When you perform a particular breath, whether it's the breath of fire, which is to expand and to grow the fire that creates your life in your understanding, your expansion, it causes you to become growth in your fire, in your ambition and your strength. But don't let your fire go out of control, as it is not necessary to eat up the land, because that in itself, when you allow fire to actually grow too big, even in yourself. It will destroy your relationships, your jobs, and also your idea of the way you live your life. It can leave you without. It can leave you in pain. It can leave you in the understanding of loss, because that is the nature of fire when it's out of control. When you expand on the nature of water, you flow through your life. You flow through your understanding. You flow into the state of being. A water breath, a breath of taking in the energy of water, is much in the same way the type of water that you want to bring in. Because water exists in all the different states: liquid, solid, mass, as well as ether, much in the same way that my name is Etham, as you know it. The idea of water out of control is also destructive. When you're taking the breath of more in line with the energy of water, it is smooth, but it can also break masses of land. This is the essence of water in a negative aspect. But when you're breathing in accordance with the energy of water itself in a positive way, you will flow in your life. It's more of a smoothing. It is more of a simple breath that allows you to go along with the idea of a breath that is water, that is destructive, can cause a punch that can break steel. For when you are breathing in that fast nature, that's the you're fully taking a breath in and you're allowing yourself to release in a very expansive way that envelops the entire area that you're in, that moves the energy through the area with no limitation, no disconnection, because you know, as a state of water, when it is in its solid state or it is fluid state, it envelops the area that it's in, the container that it exists in, because that is the nature of water. It envelops the nature of the container that it exists in. The energy of earth, of the rock, is more in the line with the idea of short, steady breaths. When you're connecting and seeking to ground, you pull the energy down through you to that breath of you're expanding, and you know when to move. You also know and understand when it is time to break away, because you are patient. You are understanding the idea of neutral Jing. You are understanding the idea of how to expand yourself, but in a slower way than you would with the element of fire and with the element of water. Whereas if you maintain the idea of the element of air or wood, you would be in a slow way that is more of a circular breath, because that is the nature of air. It flows, it moves, it has an expansive nature to it, but it does not resist anything, because it knows it cannot resist anything that exists, because it is part of everything. When you expand on the idea of metal as an energy in a breath, you expand the idea of all of the 4 previous breaths entitled into one. Whereas each one encapsulates one particular energy, the idea of metal encapsulates the idea of expanding and containing all the separate breaths that were there previous. Metal can be destructive, but it also gives form and rigidity, and also constructs into the nature of those things that are in front of you. It can form and create, and it can shift between the nice slow breaths, and it can also shift between the slow, steady breaths that know when to move. That is the idea of the different breaths, and also the different energies that are contained within each individual breath that you are connecting with in that moment. We will return to the channel at this moment. All right, that was cool. His name is Ethan, Ethium. That's how he. Hold on a second. I'm having to do all this stuff without having a someone here with me, so I'm having to go back and forth between the different things. I have a question for Ethan. Do you want humans to be part of your reality? Do you pray to do God created to purify yourself from interactions? What is your perspective on angels? Okay. Apparently, this is going to turn into more of just a straight channeling session. Going back to what, if you guys go back in the a step along the way is not forcing it to be something it's not. But if you give me a second, I will bring him back in, and we'll have him talk so he can bring forward what he needs to. Okay. One more second. I got to shift back. Do we wish for humans to be part of our reality? Of course. We view you as family, as part of creation, for us to expand, for us to have the understanding for that comes with the human experience. In our time and space, we do no longer experience the idea of the limitation that comes along with normal physical existence. So you, as beings, give us that perspective that we would not have otherwise. It's much in the way that the channel in front of you uses the idea of limitation to expand his understanding and awareness, but he does not completely understand what it's like to be quasi-physical. We give him glimpses of what it's like to be in the experience of an Esasani or an Eshakani, but he is much as expanded by the understanding that we bring to him as we are expanded by the idea of the information that we gain from his experience. As far as praying, we exist at this point in time in our existence in a positive state. We know we go anywhere in the flow at the time and the space that we are required to. We know that each and every place and everywhere is sacred. We also know that all it is all that is. All that is, it contains everything. So we know that all is healthy and all is existing in a positive state as we view and determine those things to exist. So we no longer experience the idea of negativity. We are in such a vibrational state that we can no longer invite the idea of negativity or the negative experience. It is automatic into our experience and our vibration that we hold at this time in this space for all that need to experience it. That is why we do not do prayers, because we automatically are in a state that does not require us to pray, because we hold on average a very high frequency. We know that we are all that is. Know that we are a part of all that is, as well as the ideas of angels. We are an aspect of those as well. We are messengers. We are in-betweens. We go in between you and also other civilizations that we are experiencing right now. We are here for you to experience us and that high frequency that is being emitted through us as we speak through the channel. Angels, as you know it, are the first step down from the idea of all that is. You have the one that does not know itself, and then you have the first reflection that is all that is. That it creates the idea of duality, of the Trinity, the idea of all that is. we understand the idea of the energy of an angel is that which reflects a particular archetype for you to be able to understand, for you to be able to connect with in the moments that you pray or the moments that you go into deep meditation. For there are no particularly different experiences of meditation and prayer. Realistically speaking, they both particularly present a different state of being where prayer is that which you are asking for and asking for protection, asking for this to show up in your life or that. When in reality, being in prayer and knowing is a better state than it is to be in a state of asking for anything to come into your life, because everything already exists. So you do not have to ask for anything. Whereas meditation allows you to bathe and be in the state of meditation that allows you to receive what is already there. It allows you to contain the idea of a particular frequency that you're connecting to and be in that energy in the present moment. All right. And I'll also, like I keep saying, Ethum, Ethium. So I'm gonna. This is gonna take me a little bit to go back and forth. This is interesting, having to go back and forth when you use the elemental breaths. Are you imagining the color? You enter red, fire, air, yellow, blue, water, metals. Yeah, and also with the idea of, because I've heard this recently, the idea of the golden color is you're emitting the idea of not losing energy or not losing the connection to your divinity, because that's realistically the color of divinity as far as what you're connecting to vibrationally speaking. That's why gold doesn't really corrode like any other metal. And that's why you're able to actually, and also gold, in my opinion, is a very soft, well, not in my opinion, it's a very soft metal. So it's able to be fluid in its actual actions and its actual, connection to everything. So, let's bring back Bashar for a little bit and and yes, gold is absolutely part of your soul. And let's continue on with, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So
anything that is truly, if you want to call it a goal, the ultimate goal.
Also, if you guys have any questions during when he's talking, or you want to talk to me or Ethan or whoever, we'll allow whatever to come through, and let's just let this be a nice, natural, flowing state for this session today. Angelique is going to be back next week to help me out with this, so I can just be in the state, as well as we can do just more straight channeling for you guys. So,
is being yourself, and it is the synchronicity and the passion and the higher mind that allows you at every moment to be yourself by giving those things to act on that represent your true vibration, the fullness of your being. As you step from stepping stone to stepping stone on the journey, on the path that you are, it's very important to really pay attention to what is happening right here and right now in every single one of those moments.
It's one of my favorite shirts. I've had this thing for like, I want to say about 13, almost 14 years now.
Moments in every single one of those stepping stones, and really savor it for what it is right here, right now, as simply a step along the way. No matter how exciting it may be, never assume, never insist that that particular presentation, that particular experience has to be an ultimate thing, has to unfold in a certain way. It is nothing more than a step on the journey of you being yourself, which is really the entire point of the experience. Yes, they're presented to you in certain ways that are reflective of the personality you have created yourself to be, of the way in which you designed, so to speak, your theme to be this person, this personality, this reflection, this aspect of all that is? Yes, of course it is. And that can make it seem as if this personality must achieve this thing in this particular way by this kind of time, or that something has gone wrong. But this exercise, this idea, and the meditation that will follow in this transmission this day is all about really relaxing off of that idea and really just allowing it to flow through you in the moment, no matter how it comes to you, no matter how exciting, how passionate you may be about something. Not to lose the passion, but not to rigidize it, not to structurize it in a way that insists that it must unfold in a certain way, because you really don't know, you really do not know exactly why it came to you in the way that it did. And this is why we are explaining to you that no matter how it appears, no matter how much energy might seem to be behind it, no matter how much synchronicity there may appear to be, it is simply a step along the way on your journey of being yourself, which is really the only goal. Everything else is an expression of that goal, but are not the goals themselves. The idea of coming to fruition in anything that excites you is all well and good, and many times it will happen. But even coming to fruition in a particular way that the passion may have presented itself to you is not the ultimate goal. It is just another step along the way, another part of the overall experience of your unending journey of being yourself, of discovering yourself from a new point of view, of just existing in the moment, savoring the moment, experiencing the moment, being you as fully as you can in every moment with everything that's presented to you, no matter how it looks. Whether you prefer it or not, it's there for a reason. Use the moment. Use it up fully. Dive into it. Stay with it. Don't ignore it. Don't attempt to get beyond it. Don't rush forward.
So while you guys are asking questions, because feel free to ask questions anytime, I'm kind of halfway in and halfway out of a meditative state right now, so I can go back in a lot faster when you guys ask questions. So feel free to ask questions anytime when it has, whether it's Bashar or you guys have a question yourself that you want to ask. So
Forward, trying to get somewhere else. This moment, whatever is happening in it, is the key to really experiencing the fullness of your journey, so that you are really validating and savoring every single stepping stone, every single one. For if you're not using it fully, then it's not there to support you to get to the next stepping stone.
I will say this much: keeping an open channel while I'm also remaining conscious, I realize is probably not the best idea, but it's a lot easier than having to go into like a full meditation and just kind of like shift. This way I can just kind of shift back and forth a lot faster. Considering I've only been doing this like a month, I'm actually doing pretty well already. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask.
You create gaps that you cannot get past if you don't really fully appreciate what's going on at this particular moment on your journey of being you. It's very important for you to focus on the idea of being you. You may not always know what that means, but you will find out. You will discover it if you just relax into the understanding that everything that comes to you is simply just another step along the way. It's not an ultimate goal that needs to be achieved. It's not a place you have to hurry to get to. There is no clock. You're not running out of time for anything that's relevant in your life. If you stay in the moment and just experience everything that comes as another step along the journey of being you, then everything will unfold in perfect timing, and you can feel yourself going with the flow of your truth, sailing along smoothly as you go from step to step to step, knowing that everything, every step, is just another step along the way of the journey of being who you truly are. So begin to breathe and relax into this idea that there's nothing more important than the now moment, because it is the now moment and in the now moment that you will discover by your interactions with what's happening at that moment who you truly are. And that's the most important thing you can do, to really allow yourself to move through your journey, to be your journey, and know yourself more deeply, more fully, more truly, and feel the fulfillment of the reflection of all that is and all the potential within you that will unfold, yes, over time, because that's the focus you have. But
the caveat I would say to what Daryl's talking about right here, or what Bashar's talking about right here, is when things come up in your path and you find them stopping you from moving forward, don't define that as an impediment to your path. Just define it as part of the path. Because if you define it as not being something that you can actually have in your life because it's not part of your path, it's part of your path because it's there to be part of the path. It's there to be actually hold on one second. I'm reading the person's question. How can creative persons set discipline during the studying session to remain passionate? Give me a second. I will bring him back in fully and then allow him to allow yourself to take breaks for short periods of time in order to let yourself create for a moment. When you're trying to, well, there's no trying. When you're disciplining yourself to allow yourself to be in a creative state, as well as be in a state where you can work or study or any of those sort of activities, you as a people, as a civilization, define those times as a disruption to your experience of your studying of your experience. If your mind is wandering, it's letting you know that there's resistance, that you need to potentially just take a break. If you're experiencing the idea of a disconnection, a idea of moving in and out, you may need to take some time to get up and walk around. But understand that you can never not be studying, because your life itself is a classroom, and it is a understanding in a way of doing things. You're never not studying. You're studying for the experience in the classroom of life. That is also part of your experience. Quit defining disruptions, the loss of perspective, as a disruption to your experience, as more of part of it. You're allowing yourself to know when the disconnect, as well as the understanding that you need to take breaks. The discipline comes in knowing that you can always go back to it and get yourself back into the state where you're able to study, into the idea that you, as a being, are not there to purely just do that one thing. It is part of your experience. It is part of the studying experience. It is giving you a moment to integrate the understanding that you just received for your test, for your assignment, that it's there merely to teach you something. Whether it's an assignment as a person, as a experience, when you're excited about what you're studying, you could study for hours. You don't need to take breaks because you are present in the moment, in your experience, in everything that you do. But just understand that the resistance is there to let you know that your experience is needing to shift your perspective for a moment. Not that your discipline is wavering by any means. Just know that you need to shift your focus for a moment before you can return with greater fidelity, greater clarity in your experience and how you're studying. There's no disruption to the understanding of what you're focused on. Cool. That was a good question.
You will feel the fulfillment.
Like I said, keep in mind I'm in a halfway channeling state, so I may not talk that much, but feel free to ask questions. I'm trying to do all the things.
As you go, that every single moment has been savored to its maximum, so that you know you have left nothing out, left nothing behind, ignored nothing, that you've paid attention to everything that's there, and truly absorbed everything that has been brought to you at that moment. Because there is nothing irrelevant in this moment.
1 second,
There's
John.
nothing.
1 second. All right, this is going to be an in and out day. Give me a second. The communication with those that are non-physical is ongoing. You do not, in your experience, see those that are around you, but they are communicating with you all the time. Many of the people that you understand who have transitioned into the idea of non-physicality, they are there and they are communicating with you. It's more about learning to listen in a different way, because they no longer have a physical voice, a physical experience to be able to speak to you in the way that you would expect. But they are there for you to actually communicate with. Many times they will show up in your dreams, in vibration, in an idea that is there to say, oh, I should go this way. And then you hear this thing that reminds you of that person. You are in all, I would say, don't take this the wrong way. Many of you on Earth just do not listen to what is already in front of you. The idea that you should turn this way just so you can hear a song or a phrase, or the idea that you should and will experience the idea of communications in different ways. Many of the people who are non-physicality, they communicate through vibration, through frequency. It's more of a telepathic communication overall. It's letting go of the communication has to happen in one way. Say the idea of clairaudience, which is exciting. You hear the voice of your loved one or many other loved ones. That is not the case of how many of them actually communicate. They will have given you an image of a flower or any other number of objects that relate to you to let you know that I am there, I'm well, and I'm just come to say hi. You don't have to try to communicate with them. They will usually, when you start talking about them, much the way they do in physical reality, when people talk behind your back, you know it, you feel it, you understand it from a higher perspective. It's like they say your ears are burning. It's a recognition that you are being talked about behind your back and people are trying to communicate with you, but they're not doing it physically. Just take that understanding, allow yourself to relax, and let the communication happen in a smooth, even way. If it comes in the form of a flower, it comes in the form of an object, it comes in the form of turn left. Much the way excitement will usually tell you what spirits or the spirits of your loved ones or the people that have been in your life are trying to tell you. Much in the way that we helped the channel pick out this particular transmission of the step along the way is to have the understanding that resistance is that which tells you it has to be one way. The communication, when you let it be more flexible, it allows you to experience all of it in a much more flexible way. The resistance is what allows you to not hear the communications that you're already receiving at that time. This is actually the way to communicate with spirit. Among my people, we communicate with spirits all the time. We communicate with other beings from other civilizations. Those have transitioned into pure non-physical or into the idea of a higher frequency that we cannot quite experience just yet. Just know that they are there. They are communicating with you. They're just doing it differently than you expect them to. All right. I'm kind of out of it. Hold on one second. um, Hold on. I'm kind of reading it and I'm trying to uh. All right, I'll go back in. The historical figures that you are speaking of, whether it is your presidents, your celebrities, any number of people, they have their own lives in non physical that they experience, but they also do come when you ask. It is a frequency thing, not a idea of one particular moment in time that you cannot communicate with anyone ever in existence. If you can imagine it, usually you're in contact with another counterpart, another person. The idea that you're separate from those around you is a fallacy. The idea of telepathy, much in the way that our civilization does, is the idea of connection to all that is, because we know that we are an aspect of all that is and we are always connected. There is no way to not be connected to the idea of all that is. So it's more about frequency and understanding the vibration of that particular person that you are able to tap into. If you are, we'll say, tapping into the negative aspect, they are merely at that point just reflecting back to you the idea that you are putting off a negative frequency. Therefore, you're getting back the negative reflection of that particular person that is trying to communicate or you're trying to communicate with. There is no one particular way to do it. Allow flexibility to be the guiding principle. Do not let insistence say you have to experience this one particular way because that's the only way to do anything. You connect with your heart, you connect with your mind, but mostly when you allow the communication to come from the state of your heart, chakra, whichever way you prefer to pronounce it, the communication comes through more purely in a connected way for those who that need to receive that connection. If there is no connection in that moment, you did not necessarily need to communicate with that person. We are acting as a connection point. We are using the channel's hands in a particular way, in a particular formation that allows us to come through in a much more balanced way at this time. So the vibration that he is putting off is connecting to us, and we are allowing our communication to happen through him, through frequency. We are not actually talking. Much of the communication that he is experiencing, just so he can read the questions, is all thought blocks. There is no actual words being spoken to him at this time. But he has reached a point in his understanding that he can act as a telephone with the vibration and frequency that we put off as a being, as a collective. Cool. Hold on one second. I'm trying to actually... what is real anything could anything could exist in a parallel universe, but in the physical plane, they are just fictional. Okay, one more time. Let's go back in. Like I said, this is, by the way, this is a lot easier than the last time I had to jump back and forth like this. If y'all want to, if you guys want to understand what I'm going through right now, um, like I've gotten the connection down to where I don't feel as like kind of fizzled out while I'm doing it. So hold on one second. All beings, all places exist simultaneously. There is no place in time that things do not exist. If you can imagine it, it exists on some level, some plane, some frequency, not necessarily in your reality, but you may be receiving from a communication from a parallel reality counterpart that you are speaking to or connecting with, where you're sharing information between you and that other extension that you are also part of the oversoul, the collective level that you belong to as a being. If it exists, it's real, just on a different level. Your understanding, your expanded awareness will give you more. I say this literally, the more you can perceive, the higher vibration that you are. So you do not need to ask the question, am I at a higher frequency? No, you do not need to ask this question, because the more you can perceive, the more reality that you can shift into, the more things that become part of your awareness lets you know that you're at a higher frequency in that moment. Just know that your frequency will shift as you move on, as you move through the idea of your life. It will raise up, it will raise down, it will move sideways, it will move up and down, it will move diagonal, it will move backwards in time, it will move forwards in times. It will all shift through different frequencies. Each moment is dynamic. Each moment is an experience that you as a being are there to have in that moment. If you can imagine it, it exists on some level. But the only thing real about those moments is your experience of it. Reality itself is not solid. Reality is a construct of your imagination, of your ability to project yourself into physical reality. Everyone in your reality is a projection of your own energy. So when we say that reality is a reflection of you, we literally mean your reality is a reflection of who you are in that moment. As you shift through billions of parallel realities per second, this is the understanding that you need to know. And this allows you to have the understanding of everything is a step along the way. For as if you do not validate each of the steps, even if it's a limitation, even if it's negativity for the experience that it is, you will have no place to stand in your ability to move forward. This is the basic understanding of that everything exists all at once. One second. I keep in mind I'm going back and forth, and I'm halfway like in and halfway out when I'm trying to do this and stay connected. So give me a second. The astral realm is an expanded level of your experience, of your understanding. So when you are on the astral level, it is just the level right above physical reality. It is you do exist in a non-physical way, in an energetic way, so you can connect to that higher aspect of yourself more easily, because there's less difference between you and the non-physical aspect of yourself. you are shifting into the lower astral realm as a civilization right now. That was also part of the process of your pandemic that you experienced the last few years. That was an acceleration into the experience of fourth density. The initial push, as it were, was in 2012 when you started the shift into the higher dimensional realms. This is why your time that you have been experiencing for the last 12 years of time, 11 years of time, reached a point where you are letting go of those things that are actually not belonging to you. You are shifting to have your life become more dreamlike as you progress in time. You are moving to a more accelerated era, more accelerated understanding that will come along with you and your entire planet and your entire star system as you shift into higher frequencies. As you interact with this more openly, whether it's the Sasani or any other alien civilization, we exist in this way more fully at this time. You will understand more as we move along this time space continuum. The idea of open contact will open you to the idea that you are in a higher frequency. The more solid those experiences come, the more solid the experience of us and the higher frequencies that we bring along with many other civilizations and species that exist in a similar way. So, yeah. Hold on one second. I'm kind of like, this is kind of like slingshotting back and forth. I will gladly give you a symbol. Hold on one second. This is like going back and forth and yes, because you can imagine it exists on some level. This is actually kind of fun. Like, this is a lot easier than the last time I did this where I was going back and forth like this when you all have questions. So I'm still kind of like, how y'all doing today? Wow. I'm going to take this off because this does not seem to be appropriate for me to keep wearing these. Val, hold on one second. I'm gonna give me a moment to just kind of collect myself. Which is my pole star? Is there a symbol to connect to Valhalla? I'm getting he wants you to expand on Val. I'm getting that he wants you to expand on what's Valhalla. Okay. Give me a second. Oh, cool. Now I'm actually going back and forth. I'm starting to see symbols. I'm gonna do this one without going completely into this state or completely shifting. So what he's showing me is a circle with a diamond shape in it, and the image of the Celtic cross with green behind it. So big circle, a diamond shape, and then the idea of the Celtic cross or the Viking, that kind of pattern of the Celtic / Viking cross shapes that you would see in normal Viking lore. Oh, sorry, I'm out of it. Like, I'm really, like, give me a second. I will bring him back in. I'm really out of it. See, this is why I usually have Angelique. I really got to make sure I have a moderator asking me questions when I'm doing this next time. Okay. Okay. The connection that you are seeking at this time is the normal Asasani symbol, which is our phone number, vibrationally speaking. The idea that the black triangle with the blue background on a black space. The other frequency and minor shift that you would need to make to this one particular image or vibrational frequency is a light green tint to the inside of the square. This is what the person that you are connecting to asked me to say. I'm really not trying to break. I'm just like... it's just easier when I have another person there when I'm trying to do this. So it's like... I've only been doing this like a month and a half, so this is a lot going back and forth for me right now. I'm kind of in a floaty state. I'm gonna take as many questions as I can. I'm just like, Val, I'm glad I can help you out. Wow. This is so for any of you like listening to this is like going back and forth between being here and there. It's kind of like I'm doing this right now. It's kind of fun, but it's also it's a lot to take in, and I feel like my head is kind of like in a back and forth state. I'm not quite practiced doing this yet, so it's like it's fun. And I thank you guys that I appreciate not trying to break me. I think I'm gonna cut this one short today because I'm. If you guys would like to do like a Zoom session with me sometime soon, I'm going to be building a website, and you guys can book private sessions if you want to there. But I'm like right now, I think I'm a little I feel a little too whiplashy to keep going with this for too much longer. So I think I'll take one, maybe two more questions. Please put them put your questions in the chat real quick, and then I will pick two of them, and then we will. And I think we're gonna be done for today because I don't feel like I can go back and forth like this too much more. So please put two more questions in the chat, and then we will. And I'm gonna finish up for today because I think I have it in me to go back and forth like this very much longer. I won't break, by the way. I'm not gonna break. It's just this is just disorienting going back and forth. There's no like nothing bad. Just Yeah, if you guys would like to do like private sessions over Zoom and like have it be recorded, please contact me on Facebook, Kenneth Fuller, yada yada yada. I'm gonna create a fan page and stuff so we can communicate that way. So you guys can, yeah, I'm kind of. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon. Like how? Let's see, how long have we been going today? Wow, that was an hour. That did not feel like an hour. Holy shit. Well, last time I did this where I was going back and forth, I maybe had done this maybe once before that, and I was trying just to get the hang of how to do it and how to connect. Now I have the ability to connect, but right now, for the moment, it just feels like whiplash going back and forth energetically. Is there any one last question real quick before we finish up? Because I can do that. That's fine. I did not break. I was just kind of disoriented for a while afterwards. I think I'm going to go take a walk or something. My friend will be back next week for the live stream next Monday. So y'all have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Yeah, this is very disorienting, but it was easier this time. So I just need more practice at it. So you guys have a great day. But I will say this much. I'm going to put out some videos where I just let him talk through me and talk about some stuff because he has some stuff he would like to say to you guys. Just be on the lookout for that video. Talk to you soon. Also, the lottery thing doesn't work. We don't like. He won't give me that. I've tried getting him to give me numbers for the lottery. It'd be nice. I'm going to answer this right out. So the reason why people practice martial arts, think of it as a moving meditation, a way of connecting to yourself and connecting to your expanded awareness, your expanded everything. It's more about putting energy into motion than it is about being overly like sitting there and having that very. And also remember, you're in physical reality. It's good to be physical. It's not that complicated. Make sure those that are watching like, comment, subscribe, and also yes, there will be more. I'm gonna put. He has some things he would like to say, and it's gonna be a couple different videos through the next few days. Talk to you soon.